Everyone, a warm welcome to the E-Government Center. Deputy Director of ITSD, Mrs. Jacinta Fergus. Assistant Director of the Gender Affairs Division, Mrs. Lafla Kwame-Harry. Mr. David Fu, Project Coordinator of the EDRMS project. Members of the media, facilitators, participants, a warm welcome to the first day of a series of workshops to celebrate International Girls in ICT Day. Before we go any further, we want to acknowledge God in all our ways. So we are going to ask Miss Donna Michael to just open us in prayer this morning, please. Could we all stand? So, good morning again and welcome, especially to our participants. We've planned for you. We longed to see you, and now you're here. So let's give each and every one of us a round of applause. We are here to celebrate another year of International Girls in ICT Day, and it is celebrated around the world. The primary objective is to encourage young ladies, young girls, to become involved in ICT, to pursue careers in ICT. Here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we don't have that much of an issue with females being involved in ICT. If you look around here at the facilitators, we are all females, right? But around the world, it is not so. There's a great disparity, and hence the International Telecommunications Organization saw it fit to initiate this activity. We just have to listen to the news and we will know what's going on. We hear about the kidnappings of the young ladies in Nigeria by Boko Haram. They don't think that they should be educated. We hear of the horror stories in India. They don't think the females should have access to education. And the list can go on and on. So sometimes persons would ask, why do we celebrate this day? It is for that reason that we do it. We want to have a gender balance in ICT. All right? So without further ado, I will ask the lady from the Gender Affairs Division, Mrs. Lafla Kwame-Harry, to address us at this time.
A pleasant good morning, one and all.
Good morning.
Mrs. Desiree Armstrong, the Assistant Deputy Director of the ITSD Department, Mrs. Jacinta Fergus, the Deputy Director of ITSD, participants, other invited guests, pleasant good morning, persons from the media also. It brings me great joy to be here this morning once again for second year to collaborate with the ITS Department in celebrating International Day in International Girls in ICT Day, celebrated annually the fourth Thursday in each year, and which is celebrated on April 26th this year. And the main thrust of this activity is to introduce girls and young women to ICT career opportunities and to involve them in hands-on ICT creation workshops. So this morning, our young ladies here who are decked so beautifully in your pink t-shirts and so forth, you were targeted so that it can become one of our empowerment strategies employed by the Ministry of National Mobilization, and with specific reference to the collaboration with the ITSD Department. And as I said before, this is the second year that we are collaborating. We must recognize the fact that although our ministry is entrusted with the social mandate of developing all persons in St. Vincent and Grenadines so that they can function effectively in society, we cannot do it alone. So hence, I must say thanks and a great thank you to IT Department to collaborate with us. Although it is all female here today participating in the program, I must say that the Gender Affairs Division, we don't discriminate, and we also have programs that are geared towards males. We have the Men as Partners program, which is a community-based program, whereby we target males in communities and we focus on areas specific to them, which are men's health, men as partners against violence, and men as partners within the home. We also implement a program for prisoners, the male prisoners who, because of the misfortune or the illegal activities, they may have to spend some time during incarceration at Her Majesty's Prison. So we are collaborating with the Her Majesty's Prison and the Ministry of National Security to assist them in rehabilitating these persons. And presently they are involved in an agricultural production program with the Liberty Lodge Boys Training Center. So yes, we do cater for the male and females in society. In addition to that, I must also welcome other entities, be it state and non-state agencies, to join with us. And as I said before, we cannot do it alone. To the participants, I hope that you would actively participate in this program and you can be able to leave with new knowledge that you can be able to use within and be gainfully employed, and also to assist your children, whether it be in your school, in their schoolwork, or in their school-based assessment or assignments. And to the ITSD, I wish your department a successful and productive training workshop for this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Kwame Harry. And as you heard, there is gender balance. We have not left the men out, we have not left them behind. The ministry caters for all sexes in society. I would like also now to invite the Deputy Director of the Information Technology Services Division, Mrs. Jacinta Fergus, to address us. But before she does, I just want to point out that the reason why we are decked out in pink is that pink is the color that we use to celebrate our girls. If you observe universally, when somebody's expecting a girl, when a mom is expecting a girl, she gets her pink stuff. Well, that used to be the case. I don't know about these contemporary moms now, right? Some get unisex colors, and it used to be that when you're expecting a male, a boy, you get your blue colors, clothing, whatever. So that's the reason why we are decked out in pink, because pink is universally recognized as female related. Okay? So, good morning, everyone. Please help me welcome our Deputy Director of the Information Technology Services Division, Mrs. Jacinta Fergus, to address us at this time.
Thank you, Mrs. Armstrong. What I have for you is some brief remarks, really, not really an address per se. Good morning, a pleasant good morning to you all. I would like to recognize the presence of our colleagues in the public service, Mrs. Armstrong, Mrs. Kwame, the facilitators. I will also recognize the presence of Mr. David Fu, who is our project manager for the EDRMS project. Thank you for gracing us with your presence, sir. I would also recognize the media team from API and ITSD. I will also wish to extend a special welcome to the participants in our Girls in ICT Week training workshop. It is really great to have you with us here today. Thank you for coming. You're part of a global community around the world, participating in activities to commemorate Girls in ICT Day 2018. On the fourth Thursday of April each year, the International Telecommunications Union, ITU, celebrates International Girls in ICT Day, which aims to empower and encourage girls and young women to consider studies and careers in the growing field of information communication technology, ICTs. Over 300,000 girls and young women have participated in more than 9,000 celebrations in 166 countries around the world. This has brought awareness about the potential of ICTs and the opportunities which are available to girls and young women. Here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Information Technology Services Division, ITSD, has conducted activities to celebrate Girls in ICT Day since 2012. This is the 7th year that we are commemorating Girls in ICT Day. Our past activities include holding workshops on web and mobile application development, targeting young women and girls from the age of 15. Delivering sensitization sessions on cyber dangers to primary and secondary schools. Organizing ICT essay competitions in primary schools and awarding really cool prizes to the winners. Organizing site visits to public and private sector agencies that employ ICT in their daily operations. Approximately 1,000 female students from the 3rd and 4th forms in secondary schools across the country have participated in these site visits over the years. This year, Girls in ICT Day will be celebrated on the 26th of April. St. Vincent and the Grenadines through ITSD will participate in the celebrations by conducting a 1-week ICT training workshop for young ladies from today, Monday 23rd, to Friday, 27th April. The main objective of this workshop is to introduce girls and young women to ICT career opportunities, involving them in hands-on ICT creation workshop, and directly contribute to the achievement of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal targets 4.4, 5B, 5.B, and 8.6. Target 5 in particular speaks to gender equality and empowering all women and girls through information communication technology. We hope that this training workshop would stimulate your interest in ICTs and set you on a path to a career in ICT. I would like to thank Mrs. Desiree Armstrong and the rest of our ITSD family for organizing this week of activities. Thanks also to Mrs. Lafleur Kwame and her team from the Ministry of National Mobilization for your collaboration in this venture. I would like to thank API and the ITSD media team for their coverage. Thank you once again to the facilitators and the participants. Thank you all for participating, and I wish you a very successful workshop.
And Mrs. Fergus has been a girl in ICT for a number of years.
True.
And so have I. On that note, I would call Mrs. Jazine Bailey to introduce to the participants the young ladies in ICT who would be empowering you over the next week. Mrs. Bailey.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, this week ahead is geared towards educating you in ICTs, and it would not be possible without the knowledge of our facilitators, right? So starting with our first, from the top, Mrs. Desiree Armstrong. Mrs. Desiree Armstrong has been a born-again believer since 1993. She has been a civil servant assigned to the Information Technology Services Division, ITSD, since 1988. She holds a diploma with honors in Office Administration and Technology from the University of Technology, Jamaica, and a Bachelor of Science degree, lower second class honors in Business Computing and Information Technology from Anglia Ruskin University in the UK. Ms. Desiree Armstrong. Next is Ms. Donna Michael. Stand. Okay. Ms. Donna Michael has been employed for the past 14 years and is currently a clerk at the ITSD, Information Technology Services Division. She received a Bachelor of Science in Management with a minor in Economics from the University of the West Indies and received training at the National Center of Technological Innovation, known as NCTI, in Microsoft Office. Next is Ms. Kedana Oliver. Okay. After leaving the SVGCC Division of Arts, Science, and General Studies, Kedana joined the public service and has been attached to ITSD for the past 8 years. Although she studied computer science at A-levels, IT was not her first choice for a career. She says, over the years, I have grown to love the IT sector and have no regrets working in this field. At present, she is an administrative assistant while also pursuing studies in the information systems and management at the bachelor's level. Oh, yes. I'm looking for, okay, next is Miss Philia Alexander. Please stand. Right. Okay. Ms. Alexander is an ICT professional with over 5 years' experience in supporting the government online presence through the design and implementation of web and graphic design at ITSD. Over the past 3 years, she has also been serving as a part-time lecturer for various courses within the Cybersecurity Associate's Degree program at the SVG Community College. One of her greatest passions is photography, which she enjoys doing in her spare time. Yeah. Okay, next is Lynette. Miss Lynette Lane. She's presently an intern at ITSD. She has a keen interest in sharing her knowledge as an educator and a collaborator in the Internet of Things Learning Initiative. In the field of ICT, she's a trained electronic engineer with work experience in both hardware and software. She enjoys gardening in her spare time, namely peas, beans, and peanuts. Thank you. All right, and Miss Armstrong, because I'm also a facilitator.
So Mrs. Josine Bailey. Growing up in rural SVG, Mrs. Bailey was interested in sciences from a young age, eventually studying computing and maths at the university level. After graduating, she did a year's internship at ITSD, that's the Information Technology Services Division, and was later able to join the staff full-time. She enjoys problem solving and seeks to apply this skill in many areas, whether through coding, design, or daily tasks. Mrs. Josine Bailey. Participants, you have a wealth of knowledge to draw from, and I urge you to take full advantage over the coming week. You don't have to confine your questions to what we have scheduled to do, but if you have any questions in IT on a whole, you can bring them. If we don't know, we will research and return, but there must be somebody in this country who would be able to give us an answer. So feel free to tap into us over the next week. We are coming to the close of our ceremony this morning. I want to remind the media that at the end we are going to have a group photo. So participants, members of the head table, we want to have a group photo of everyone. Yeah, feel free to sit there, my dear. So before we move into some housekeeping matters and our group photo, I just want to give a brief overview of what we would be doing in the workshops for this upcoming week, 23rd to 27th April. This morning, right after this ceremony and after a few minutes of refreshing time, we are going straight into document preparation, and we are going to focus on how to prepare a job application letter. Then we would look at Windows and file management, how you maneuver in the Windows environment, your files, your folders, etc. All exciting stuff. Ms. Donna Michael would take care of the document preparation session, while Mrs. Bailey would take care of the Windows and file management session. On Tuesday, you have yours truly doing communication, and I'm looking forward to this session. It's one of my passions. And I would zero in on a few subtopics such as preparing for a job interview, netiquette, emailing, telephone, and anything else you bring to the table, we'll discuss. In the PM, we would have social marketing with Miss Lynette Lane, and this would be another hot topic, I'm sure. Then we have on Wednesday in the morning, web designing with Miss Philia Alexander, and I know this is going to be an interesting session also. In the PM, we have data storage with Miss Kidonna Oliver. We must know how to keep our records intact. Then we have budgeting on the 26th in the morning with Mrs. Bailey again. Very important aspect of life, especially these days where, you know, the dollars are kind of limited. We must know how to spend them prudently, right? Young ladies, participants? Of course, especially those with children. You have to know how to balance that budget. And then in the PM on Thursday, we have internet pros and cons with Miss Lynette Lane. Again, we have to know how to conduct ourselves on the internet. So we're going to try and assist you in that area. And on Friday in the morning, we culminate the workshops with an exciting session again, photography. You heard that Miss Philia Alexander, this is one of her passions, and it truly is. So I know we're going to have a wonderful time in that session also. So come with your fabulous hairstyles. Right. And then in the afternoon at 2 p.m., we will have a closing ceremony at the National Insurance Services Conference Room. So we have an exciting time ahead. Fasten your seat belts, and we will be taking off in earnest in a little while. I would want to call now Miss Kidonna Oliver, who would give us some housekeeping matters. Then we'd have our group photo, and that would culminate our short ceremony for this morning. Miss Kidonna.